Welcome to the Circle of Kings, man. I'm Big Face. Welcome to the home of scrapping and rapping, man. We're about to give you a great night tonight of combat sports, hip hop from the 2-6 perspective. You know, a whole lot of involved. We'll go in tonight. We'll talk briefly with Britain Hart, the current queen of the strawweights in bare knuckle at BKFC, the strawweight champ of the world. We'll chop it up with her, and then of course we get in depth with UFC and MMA legend Chris Lights Out Lytle, and currently the voice of BKFC, and he just gives us a whole lot of insight. But man, you know, we got to start it out, man, with mad love from the city worldwide for who I'm about to bring on. We got the current NBA welterweight champ of the world, man, Michael 150% Williams
Yes,
Jr.,
sir.
baby, right? Whole lot of
Yeah, hey, look, NBA welterweight world champion. You feel me? World champion.
yes, man. Correct that
Indeed.
immediately.
Yes,
How you
sir.
feeling,
Let's get it,
champ?
man. I'm feeling good, man. Everything been smooth, man. Just been
Nice.
living life, chilling. You're just ready for the next year, you know?
So October 21st, man, right here in our beloved city, bro. I mean, you went out there, dude. You took Juan Manuel Witt down in the third round in front of the packed house. You guys threw a hell of a show. Big ups to everyone involved in that. But man, congratulations from the city.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, the city definitely showed out. And that was FSU's homecoming too. So to see, you know, that many people still show love the day of, man, that's what's up, man. I appreciate it.
Not just that, Mike, but they have Maxwell over in the building next door, and you still packed.
Hey, look, that whole weekend was fire, man, and they still showed out, man. That's what, hey, look, one thing I can always guarantee, no matter where I'm at, man, Fayetteville always gonna come out and represent. That's one thing I can say.
Yeah, the city definitely. I know you weren't born here, but you were raised here. You weren't born here, but you were raised here, and we love you. You Fayetteville, baby. I mean, so I looked at some articles. I mean, you were a junior Olympic state athlete, state boxer of the year. This we talking about way back in 2010, right here in the city.
Yeah, that was a minute. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. Man. That's the thing a lot of people don't recognize, man. This the hard work and everything we put in. We ain't just wake up and it was like that, man. We grinded to where we at now. Ever since I was little, I've been boxing my whole life, you know. There's been times when, you know, a lot of people look at us crazy about the things we were doing, the Facebook posts, the way we were just promoting myself as a little kid. They looking at us like we was crazy, but now they see, you know, we here now. So
No, they definitely wasn't crazy. You had a great amateur career. You've had a great pro career. You definitely put the time and effort in, and you got that flash. You got that style, man. I love your ring attire.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, man. You got some flashy ring attire. Who designed your ring attire, and how do you go about getting that?
My man Aaron Harris, man. His work is Body Kit Customs. We just me, him, my dad, man. We just literally just sit home and just be thinking about stuff, man. And everybody's so creative in their own way. We just think about it, and our designer, Aaron, he just make it happen. We find out ways to make it happen, and it always turn out dope at the end. Like had the little lights flashing. I had my whole on the back of my one uniform. It's like literally a full body of me from top to bottom on the back of my uniform. Like we're entertainers, so if I can find out a way to entertain the crowd in every little way we can do, man, that's what we try to come and do. So our uniforms always a start. You know, they say look good, feel good. So that's what we try to make happen.
Definitely look good, feel good. And, you know, boxing, as I've talked to a lot of boxers over the last few weeks, man, boxing is way more than just what you do in that ring, man. It's really, that's just a small percentage, right? I mean, all the training, like you said, the dedication to 15 years you put in, and then all the little details you want to put on the show. You the performer, we come to see you, right?
I would say, yeah, boxing is definitely a lot behind the scenes, man, especially like mentally and like what we got to do to prepare for a fight, how we got to stay focused. It's a lot, man. It's, you know, a lot of people think they can just go in there and get it done, and they always find out the hard way or like, dang, yeah. I definitely respect boxers now, but we got to go through a lot inside and outside the ring, you know.
Well, and it's mentally tough too. So okay, so you took out with. I mean, I know Michael Senior, and you guys are a very close knit family unit there. do you guys got any idea what's the future? I mean, what's your next move? You have any ideas yet?
Not right now. We got one call, but I literally like a few days after the win. But I was just gonna just chill out the rest of the year and just come back harder and stronger for the next year. But as of right now we ain't got nothing. We're gonna enjoy this, world title, and just 2024. We back to it.
I mean, you've been a really busy fighter. You've been pro for like 5 years. You already fought 23 times. I mean, you're averaging a fight every couple months.
Say, yeah. So, it's a blessing too, especially being independent. But my first year when I was 18, we had 8 fights that 1 year. So we definitely been grinding.
That's amazing, man. To put your body through that kind of it takes a special kind of talent, man. And so, especially so me, I'm big face. I'm from the city. I go way back in the city, all the way back to the J. Cole era, bomb shelter type music. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. And there's people, core people in the city that are important. Like you say, this is the home of J. Cole. This is the home of Afion Crockett. This is the home of Michael Williams Jr. What's it feel like? You're on the Mount Rushmore to 2-6 now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's got to feel good.
Yeah, man. It's a dope pleasure and blessing for real, man. That's one thing we're trying to do, man. We got a lot of talent and a lot of boxers that are like people that want to box here in Fayetteville, but they might not got the promotion or like the support. So like with me being young, and I could like kind of one thing I want to do when I get older. Well, not get older, but like after all this is settled down, I want to open up a gym, so I can kind of help those fighters like get out there more. But just with everybody, though, like my last fight back in August, we had a fight, then we try to like promote and help the local artists out of Fayetteville, perform and stuff, and like rap me out before my fight. So like to be, at that top stage, that's dope, man. We always try to get back to the community. That's one thing about us. So that's us.
Well, it's important, and I know that your family definitely does a lot for the community here. And me personally, I've seen you do a lot for the community. In 2021, I lost a friend, Up South 30, who I'd known for a very long time, and I helped the community put together some shows for his funeral. And you were out at the cleanup in Massey Hill in his honor.
I remember that.
And that was big for the city. And you and your team were out there.
We was, man. That's like I said, we definitely like to always. So the city support us. We like to give back,
Well, I mean, it's real important, man. It's a grimy city, but it's ours. That's what I always like to tell people. It is what it is, but it's ours. And so also big shout out to you, fellow Falcon alum. I'm, class of 93, 71st. So
Oh, word. Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah. Yeah, 71st. And we actually, I went there not too long ago to speak to the students. So that was dope, man. All the kids and stuff was excited to see me. It was dope.
Shout out to them boys over there at 71st. They're going into the second round of the playoffs this week, and they're sure to win. They look like they're running for a state title.
71st, we always, one thing about football, man, them boys play hard now. Them boys play hard.
Fighting Falcons, baby. Fighting Falcons from the west side.
I wouldn't be surprised if we did win it all. I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, hey, last year they lost in the finals, so right before the state ship. So I expect them to do good. So I do want to tell you, champ, man, the whole city is behind you. We can't wait to see what you do next. And I really appreciate you taking a couple minutes out to come talk with Circle of Kingz, man.
Oh, yeah, come on now. We both from the Ville, we definitely got to support each other. So this is definitely too easy, Definitely too easy.
So I got a little question for you, though, man. Since you're a fighter, you done came up boxing all your life. I just want to ask you, if Will Smith would have walked up and slapped the shit out of you on the Oscars, what would you have done?
First of all, with my squad and my team, how we roll, by the time you've been walking close, he would have got jumped. So I would never added anything. But I'm pretty sure if he did happen to smack me, Will Smith would have been hospitalized, hurt. His acting career would have been done. Jada Pinkett wouldn't have to worry about him because I would have handled him,
You leave Jade alone. That dude is mad too. So look, nobody wants to run up on the guns and boxing crowd. Okay, we done seen how that rolls out, right? Shout out to Michael. By the way, big shout out to Michael Sr., man. Thank you so much for helping put this together. Yeah, shout out to him, man. And he's a huge figure in the city. And man, we respect and love. He's a first responder too. So we love Michael Sr. for real, for real.
Oh yeah, he definitely do a lot, especially for me and the team. Man, he trainer, manager, promoter. He does it all. He does it all.
And now we see that you guys can pack it out with the boxing venue. Even if you're not on the card, I expect y'all cats to bring more boxing events to the city because it looks like we love, the city loves scrapping and rapping. That's why we're doing this.
That's scrapping and rapping, yeah. And yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Like I said, we definitely trying to bring back the boxing because a lot of out here, like I talk to a lot of people, and like when you hear about boxing, they always bring up what happened back in the 1990s sound, back when the All Army was popping and stuff. Now we it's a lot of talented boxers here, man. We definitely trying to bring that back.
Well, yeah, definitely in the 80s, man. I mean, the Army boxing was huge. We had Bone Crusher Smith. We had several great boxers here from the 80s. So you continue on. You continue on. The NBA welterweight world champion. I correct myself from earlier.
There you go.
I got all right, Mike. I got one more question now, Mike. I got one more question.
What's up?
So if you ride or you pull up with the Fly Honey on the first date and you pull up to the Cheesecake Factory and she ain't getting out the whip, I mean, what you gonna do? You say no?
I seen that video too, man.
I'm gonna tell you what
honestly,
I'm gonna do.
I'll probably take it back home too, man. That's the best thing to do, especially on a first date,
First, you already know we from the Ville. If we took you to the Cheesecake Factory, we done drove to Raleigh, dog.
We went on our way.
Come on, man.
To make a trip just for you to act like that. Yeah, they definitely got to go.
You might catch the Greyhound 12 o'clock back from Raleigh back to the Ville.
Yeah, she tripping, man. And honestly, the Cheesecake Factory. Hold on, the Cheesecake Factory is nice.
For us.
What? Add up after a while. Well, yeah.
So
definitely go.
She definitely ain't going.
She
definitely ain't going to the Red Lobster. She ain't going to the Red Lobster. None of that. So you can hang it up. So yeah, you're taking the Greyhound back. Go. Hey, Mike, man, I really appreciate you, man. I just want you to know you're a friend of the show. Circle of Kings will definitely be following everything and anything you do, and anything we ever can do, we will do for you. And man, the sky's the limit, and we expect you, to carry on winning world championships and a whole lot of shit.
That's the plan. I definitely got to put on for the Ville and represent. So this is just the beginning, man. We're gonna definitely keep on grinding. And sky's the limit. All
right, man. Well, big ups, man. Hey, take it easy, Mike. Appreciate you.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man, for having me, man.
Absolutely, man. Circle of Kings, man. Right there. There he is. One of the kings of the city. Man, there you have it, man. Michael Williams Jr., man. One of the kings of the city, the current NBA welterweight champ of the world. Dude packed it in October 21st and put on the show. Put dude down in the third round, made easy work of him, and we expect to see a lot. And like he said, he laying low for the rest of 2023, and 2024 is going to be a big show. So just stay tuned, man. We're about to bring you up to date with the queen of the strawweights, my girl Britton Hart, and the BKFC strawweight champ of the world, man, right here on Circle of Kings with Big Face, scrapping and rapping, man. That's what we do. Yo, welcome back to the Circle of Kings podcast, Big Face. We capping, we scrapping and rapping. That's what we do, music and combat sports. And it is my pleasure to introduce y'all to one of the baddest women on the planet, the current reigning strawweight BKFC champ of the world, 3-time defending Miss Britton Hart.
up. There we are. Hey,
Yeah,
what's
there
up,
we go. There we go.
guys? Super awesome to catch up with you. I'm doing good. Thanks for the introduction. That was awesome.
Well, you awesome. I mean, I appreciate you taking your time out to talk to us, man. I'm a big fan, so we got a lot to talk about here. And
Right?
I ran into you really quickly in Salem while you were coming in. I gave you a little fist bump. You was going into the back before you met Miss Melanie. So I was ringside for that fight, which was exciting. And I got to see you live for the first time. I watched your fights, but it was the first time I was able to see you live. And man, you dismantled Melanie Shaw.
Wow. You know what? Actually, it's crazy. And to know that you're the man because everyone's hearing it first. This is my first podcast since that fight, which is
Yeah.
wild. So I've actually never been on a podcast or really talked about kind of what that fight camp or what that experience was like. But it was one of the. Honestly, it was a badass one for the books. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look like you were fast, you were technically sharp, look like you were in shape. I mean, you dominated. I mean, and I could tell that you were trying to stay clean. You know what I'm saying? You were trying not to get cut. And I know you had some things in sight really quickly you wanted to do. Talk to us about the hand. Did you injure the hand in the fight?
Yeah, so if you guys watch the fight back, I remember it so clearly because I watched the clip over and over and I was like, oh my God, please don't let it be that bad. But I hit her and I looked down at my hand, and that's why I did the whole stunt. Although it was cool because everybody thought, wow, Britain's such a badass. But I put my hands behind my back and was like, I kind of tried my like late week attempt on being like one of the boys, got the head movement, my hands are
I
behind my
saw that. I
back.
remember that.
I
I
was
remember
doing
that.
it. Yeah, like I was, it was cool. Like that's really what I wish that was. But really, it was an adaptation to my hand being broke. My hand was broke, and as a fighter and as a warrior and just someone who's lived through it, lesson I've learned is don't ever let anyone know you're hurt. And so it's really hard for me to go through this because I don't want anyone to know I'm hurt. And that's sometimes we work on camouflaging that, but coming back after that, I've just really wanted to fight in Thailand. I did. You're right. It was so wild, and I've wanted to like share this with the world. I just haven't found a right time. But like, I was really bothered that this girl thought I underestimated her because I'm telling you, I never worked so hard. And I think words or talk is cheap, but when you saw me, I was in the
Oh
best
yeah.
shape I've ever been in. I've never
Wow.
looked that clean cut. I just did so good in my fight camp because every day I wanted that Thailand fight. I know that I said you shouldn't look past the Virginia fight, but I was, which is why I was training so hard. Because I was like, I'm going to show the world that I didn't underestimate nothing and that I am ready for this. And so I'm not going to get cut. So every day I was like, you're going to train your freaking ass off. I trained like 6, 8 hours a day. And on minimum, like I would leave at 6 in the morning and not be back till 10 p.m. and still go to Planet Fitness at midnight a couple times just because I was doing the most during that camp, which was good for me because it kept me in shape. But anyways, when I prayed to God, I know in my heart I did the best I can. I said, just please don't let me get cut. Just don't let me get cut. I go in there. I never once asked protection or safety over my hands. It's so wild to me because I usually do, but I kind of got ahead of myself thinking that I'm such a badass. And that was my 11th bare knuckle fight, and I've never broken my hand, not once.
Wow.
I'll be
Well, that's
hitting the bag
amazing.
after.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's amazing that you haven't injured your hands already because bare knuckle, man, you're going to see a lot of metacarpal injury, a lot of hand injuries. So it's amazing that you didn't. But you were so fat. Your speed was so like overpowering in that fight. You were tight. All your combinations were inside, and the body work, which you're known for in the clinch. I watched several of your old fights. I've watched all your fights, and you kill them in the clinch in the body. So the training is what it's all about. You hit the body because you know your body's tight.
Yeah. Ow. I know I love it. And I still want that like liver shop and they just drop. Like it's funny because I'm not even trying to be that brutal. How crazy that Melanie Shaw's face going viral, being just
Oh,
tore up, teeth missing. But for me, I'm thinking in my
I
head,
saw
like,
I saw
damn,
the two
why?
fly out. We saw the two fly out live. We saw the two fly out live. So yeah, definitely that was amazing. In the fifth round too, you were coming on strong, and
Yeah.
she wasn't ready for that. She wasn't ready for that relentlessness. and that's what you're known for. You're one of the most determined fighters I've ever seen in my life. Like,
Thank
so
you.
while we're on that, I do want to talk about that. Like, so you're crushing the game now. I mean, you're 7-1 your last 8 fights, right? You're on a 4-fight win streak, and you've really been winning ever since you kind of finally fought in your weight class. Like, you've
Yeah.
been fighting above your weight class, right? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so you see me right now, I'm chilling, I'm not doing too much as far as like extreme dieting or working out, whatever. And I walk around 118. That's just what I walk around at. So you got to think I've always been, this size. So when BKFC first came out, it was at 125. So I was doing the eating donuts
Yeah,
and
yeah.
lots of food and, protein, trying to gain weight, and it was a struggle, but I finally put it on, and so my walk around weight then was even just still between 125 and 130. But these girls that are fighting at 125, they're not even 130 girls. They're cutting from like 145. And I mean, people, I think, outside the fighting niche find that astonishing. And it's not like I'm trying to put a bad name or label to it. It's a widely practiced thing within combat sports, MMA, wrestling, and even other ones like competitive bodybuilding and or the bikini shows, fitness model shows, whatever. But it is a science, and you can do it safely, so it is very possible. But the more weight, obviously it's hard. Like I can lose 10 pounds comfortably in a week, which sounds wild, but to lose 15 pounds in a week would be detrimental to my health. So sometimes I don't really do that, even though for these bigger girls, and I only say that for me because I'm smaller, so I don't have that ability. But when you're bigger, you have that ability to cut off the water weight, muscle, etc. But
Well,
yeah,
and
my
also
weight
though,
class.
so yeah, saying that, yeah, the straw weight class, like, because there's not as many fighters. Well, it's becoming more popular now, of course, but I'm sure as a female fighter, you face this. You've been fighting competitively for what, 50? How long now? Like, has it been 10 years? 15 years? How long has it been?
No, wildly enough, I started in 2016. I never did anything. I mean, I fought in
Wow,
college, but
7 years.
yep, that's it. Since I walked into a gym, like a boxing gym.
Well, I did do some background on that, so I do know. You got it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? You got it out the mud. You restarted several times, but I also know that you have a bachelor's from Lynchburg and a master's from ODU. So not only can you throw them hands, you sharp upstairs too.
Yes, I try. Yeah, thank you. And I try to. I learned that young. The knowledge is power, and it goes in boxing too. The IQ, like you said, just being fast, knowing how to train that, knowing that, yeah, I am small, so I'm not quitting and giving up, but being smart enough to know that I can train speed to beat this and what I need to do. But yeah, I love, and I preach everybody, to get your education in some sort because it can help you tremendously. And so for kids or anybody going through college, like finish that shit, because at the end of the day, that's something like we're talking about now. I graduated in 2013, but that's something that will never be able to be taken away from me. There's nothing anyone can do to diminish the fact I graduated with a degree. So super strong and passionate about that, and then use that to be a badass.
I mean, that's a well-rounded badass right there. And I mean, the explosion that you guys are seeing, I mean, your stardom is just skyrocketing right now on the internet. I mean, I see a lot more, and I've been following you on Instagram for quite some time. So I know that you train religiously, and I know also you work, a 9 to 5 and mostly a physical job. You keep a physical job. So let's talk about the explosion of bare knuckle the last 24 months. I mean, there's multiple leagues now. Ken Shamrock's got this league. I saw a league with chicks in a triangle ring, bare knuckling it out. So let's talk about that for a minute. What do you think about that, Britton?
Yeah, I actually love all those guys. Obviously, I'm loyal to BKFC, but the way I kind of label it is like, everybody loves MMA, right? But you got UFC, kind of the King Daddy, and then you got Bellator and Victa, and they're all very awesome promotions. That's kind of how I feel about bare knuckle. I think BKFC is the king of them all, but I freaking love BYB, which is the triangle. I've actually been a coach in a corner several times for them and know a
Oh,
lot of their fighters and think they're great. And then, with Ken, I'm excited to see what he does with it. I think everything is, I think if we all work together, if people are into this sport, it helps it grow. And growing for these other companies means growing in BKFC too, having more talent either have a new home or opportunity to go to, or for us to bring more people in and them climb the ladder and have more of that experience. So I think all the way around, it's going to work out really great if we all support each other.
Well, I agree. And I think bare knuckle, I mean, I've always been a combat sport fan. I boxed when I was a really young kid. And I really feel like it's a great outlet and a great sport. Bare knuckle, though, in my opinion, is taking off because it's the excitement of MMA and boxing. It's fast paced, but you can't grab, you can't tackle, you can't hold. You got to throw them hands. These hands is ready to eat for everybody. And it's not a tough man contest type deal. It's skill. It's a lot of boxing skill. I've been to several shows now in a row, and it's a lot of skill in that ring. So I think bare knuckle is gonna. I mean, everybody I take when I take them after they leave the experience, they're like, "That's the best shit I've ever seen."
Oh,
You know.
absolutely.
And BKFC,
Like,
yeah. Shout
we're
out
like
to
bare
BK.
knuckle real people. But I'm like, dude, it's not even because I'm a fighter. I'm not even trying to sell myself or the organization. I wholeheartedly mean when you go to one of these events, you're gonna be like, holy shit, what did I
Yes,
just watch? And I want
yes.
more. So it's super cool to see. I know as sports and comics fans that we have that same experience. And it's not that we know what our experience is, but it's the look on our friends' faces when they're like, whoa, that was like, and before it's, why do you do that? That's kind of
Well, you
brutal,
can
but
hear them. You hear them
it's
slaps. You
Anna.
hear them. The bare knuckle punches. Nothing sounds like them when they land. Shout out to Junior and Tony. Shout out to them. They're building a hell of a product there at BKFC. And with that app, I mean, look at this month. I mean, you're paying a minimum amount, what, like $7.99, and you're getting 4 pay-per-views this month alone. Bulgaria, Thailand, Miami. I mean, you're getting some amazing fights for like $7.99. If you like, I mean, I love UFC, but you're spending $150 a month.
Yeah,
So
for an event. And it's just, I mean, it's so easy to pull it up and watch on your phone, so you never have to worry about missing it.
or to
Being
simulcast
on.
to your TV, or if send it right to your TV like I do with my smart TV. Boom, and you watching it on the
Yeah, and
big
then
screen.
it's a fight party.
So yeah, I think it's great what you guys are doing. And so right while I have you though, I do want to ask you about something. I want to ask you about. I know that early on in your career when you were boxing, you were in the Roy Jones camp for a little while. You were training. The first time I ever read about you, you were on an undercard of a late Jones fight. I was a huge
Yeah.
Roy Jones Jr. Fan all my life. He's of my age, so that's my man right there. But let's talk about that a little bit. What's that experience like training with Roy Jones Jr.?
Yeah, he's my favorite. So like you, he's my favorite boxer. He's the boxer I idolize the most in terms of just whole package. And that's kind of what dealing with him and training with him kind of, I think I really absorbed that and soaked that in. A- Anyone can learn how to box. I really do mean that. You can throw these punches. Whether you know how to defend stuff and put it together, that's on you. But everyone can learn it as a fitness, shadow boxing on their own, non-competitive. It's not hard. And so when you put it in a competitive form, think of how many people are in the gym training just like me. There's tons of people that are doing what I do. And, same thing goes for, in any profession. But there's always these rare few individuals that have something that you don't do. Like put your hands down, put your hands behind your back, block like this. There's certain things they don't teach you to do that because certain things, but there's individuals that have this God-given talent and skill that makes them just a little bit step above. And as long as they're working hard, their skill is unmatched because it's not learned. It's a God-given talent. Like they couldn't unlearn it. And so I really felt that about him and being around there. And I was so nervous. I remember the first day I showed up to practice with him. I
Me
was
too,
so, I mean, I was like, oh my freaking God. I probably didn't
man.
breathe the whole round. I was so nervous. But at the end of it, it was mind blowing. And the fact that I was like, oh wow, I can do this. Like this is what he's doing and what his world champ is going, because I was her sparring partner. And shout out to Ingram Kerwat too, because she still messages me to this day to check on me and be a mentor in the female boxing world. And I'm just so blessed to have that experience from 7-ish years ago. But they both gave me that belief, like I can do this. And so I left that training camp with that, not only the skill and the things I learned from him, but the knowledge of boxing IQ and the knowledge of why we do things and why we get away with certain things, and knowing that you have the confidence to get away with those certain things, such as the hands being down and whatnot. And I really started believing in myself that I could be not only do what they do, but that I could be different. And so it's taken me a couple of these years, but I think that's what makes me an exciting fighter. And I contribute that to Roy Jones Jr. and a lot of other people that I met, is because you never know what Britain Hart's going to do in the ring, because it's always evolving and growing. Where I'm stockpiling what I learned from people, taking the gift of their knowledge and time that they spent with me, and making it not just a copycat, but making it my own, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I feel like you stepped into a gym and you wanted to release frustrations, and you found out you had a talent. And if talent and people that see you, especially putting yourself in that kind of arena around a Roy Jones and him giving you the confidence that, yeah, if you can do this professionally, then I see why. I mean, you jumped in the deep end really quick. Like, I mean, and you've had a lot of success, and it's been really fast. And I feel like, you know, you coming on strong, Britt. I mean, this is so. In the future, what do you, as a dream fight, who would you like to see next? I know what's your timeline on the healing of the hand?
You know, I really want to give it, at the very least, like short term goal, I want to give it my all this next 2 years. I'm 33. So I just want to pour, I've gone through some life problems and trials and tribulations like we all have, but I really just want to be like devoted and like in a relationship with the game, if that makes sense. Like eat, breathe, and sleep
Definitely
it.
makes
And
sense. Yeah.
this is my time. When one door closes, another one opens. So here it is. I'm gonna make it a life worth living, and an opportunity not wasted. And so I think that it's a hard field. You can't be doing it all your life. You got to be realistic with it. But I feel like if I can pour everything I have every day for the next 2 years, that I really feel like I have the ability to walk away as a bare knuckle legend and a boxing legend. I want to
Well,
go back to boxing. I didn't finish my career in boxing, and I knew I was better. Just nobody would give me the chance, and I was, people don't realize that. And sometimes I wish that story would get out, is that I'm still the girl with the chip on her shoulder, and the fact of the hell I had to walk through, and nobody would pay attention to me. Nobody would give me the time of day. And it was just all these shitty things after, like, one after another. And then BKFC happened, and it was like, even though it was shitty and I wasn't really supposed to win, I had made it so
right.
undeniable. There was no way, because I had the platform for people to see me. And so now that people actually see me, look, like I'm here, like look what I'm doing, like knocking people's teeth out and not like even having a mark. I'm an
Beautiful,
entertaining
by the
person.
way. Super hot, probably the hottest fighter in the game, period, in combat sports.
And see,
Yeah.
look, I have, I thank you so much, because here I am thinking, man, well, you got so many other pretty women in combat sports with Paige and Rachel and,
Yeah, but
Taylor
you beat them
Swift.
up though. But you beat them up. I watched you beat them up.
Yeah. And so, no, I haven't. I'm competitive on all levels. And so this is my new era. Like you said, you've been seeing me grow. And my new era is like, all right, look, I took your shit. I walked through it. I played that part. I earned this spot. Now give me my respect. And I'm definitely looking for a new era of Britain to believe that I am going from the greatest to the best.
Well, I definitely can see you springboarding this. Your BKFC success. You're the queen bee. They got to be really happy with your success at the company. You're headlining shows as a female. You've co-headlined. You've headlined. You packed the place and selling. The place was going crazy all night for you. So I mean, I'm sure they're really happy, and I can see you. This reign lasting as long as you want it to. Really, as long as you're committed and serious. And then you can springboard that to some a bigger money fight, boxing fight, and overseas is where you want to go, because that's where all them scrappers are at 115, though, right? That's over in Thailand and in that area. That's where, and we're looking forward to at some point seeing you. I know you want to travel and fight, but I mean, just know that the world is watching. I see you gaining followers every day. I mean, you are on the up. I can't wait to see who you fight next. And I heard is this true? You're in a Tubi movie? Are you in one of these? Because I myself am in a few Tubi. Are you in a Tubi movie?
So there's this movie coming out that I went and shot with Master Jose Torres up in New Jersey area, and we had a really great team of people from, really credible movie backgrounds and diverse backgrounds. It was such a cool experience. We shot it in
Nice.
June, and it's being, because it's a movie, so it takes some time. Like when you shoot it, now I'm realizing it because I want you guys to watch it now. Like, I can't wait for people to see it, but it's going through that process. It's going to be released February 2024. So keep in contact and touch and on the
Okay.
lookout.
Oh yeah, February. There we go. There we go. So I've actually been in a few, and I need to talk to the gentleman here. We out of the famous Mighty 2-6 Vietnam, where J. Cole's hometown. That's where we out of. I wanted to ask you, since you had cross paths with Roy Jones earlier, you ever heard Michael Williams Jr.'s name? Young
Yeah,
boxer from.
we're super buddies. I hope he I
Hang
consider
on one
him
second. Hang on one second.
Mr.
Sorry about that. But go ahead. Michael Williams Jr. Yes.
I consider that guy like family to me.
Well, that's great because
I
he's
love
on
him,
this
he's
show.
dad.
He's on this show tonight, so that's
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah, well, I hope he says the same about me. I think I haven't talked to him in a bit, but man, I rep his, actually, when I usually box, my boxing shoes are from him
Oh,
because
word.
got the dopest boxing shoe in the game. If Roy Jones Jr. would come out more of his Jordans, then yeah, but he stopped making them. So sorry, guys. But Michael Williams Jr. has some, and they're freaking fire. I have 4 pairs, and I love them all. But more so than that, we come from the Norfolk area. We have the same kind of friends, and we had like a little thing in Charlotte, where it was like a music awards ceremony, and we met up. And he's just always been a bright light. He's a great person. His light shines bright, and he's just a great energy. So you should enjoy the podcast later on with him.
Well, also, I've met him before, and his father, is a great Fayetteville son of our city. They do great things for our city all the time. I went to BKFC 52 on Friday night in Columbia. Shout out to my little brother Josh. I believe you know him. That's my little brother. And then I came back home Saturday, and Michael Williams Jr. won the NBA championship, welterweight championship here at Crown Coliseum in Fayetteville. So he recently won a world championship last Saturday night.
That's amazing. Congrats. Tell him, give him a fist bump for me.
All right, no doubt. Well, no doubt. Well, I've seen what you've been dealing with. I mean, you've been whirlwinding around since the fight, by the way, a flurry of activity on the internet since you thoroughly, man, poor Shaw. And just so we say this, she said, man, I knew she would be tough, but I just didn't know she was not going to get tired. Like she said,
you know what, my fight, I'm known for that. I never get tired. It's a joke. I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm an Energizer bunny, that's for sure. The best thing I have is cardio, but I was on fire that night too, that's for sure.
So, but I don't want to keep too much of your time, but I want to ask you a question while we got you here. So I don't know if you get on the internet a lot. I'm sure you have your opportunities. So first date, I mean, are you getting pissed off if I take you to the Cheesecake Factory? Are you not getting out the car or what? Do you have a list, like this list? Have you heard the list?
A list of what? The Cheesecake Factory?
So hang on, let me give you a little background, Britt.
Yeah, because now I'm like, I don't know.
All right. So recently this went viral that a young lady put a list out on the internet of places you cannot bring a date on the first date. It was Cheesecake Factory, it was Red Lobster, it was Applebee, it was a whole list of stuff, bowling. Can't take them all.
Cheesecake Factory's awesome. Take me out on a date. Well, ask that guy. Take me to Cheesecake Factory. I love Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. Well, hey, I appreciate you giving us your time. And in the world of combat sports, man, you're a rising star, and we are definitely fans. We'll be keeping an eye on you and hopefully be able to check in with you in the future when you get a fight plan, because I want to see you in action as soon as possible.
No, me too. That's why you see me. I've been trying not to get down with, my big dream and goal of going to Thailand. I've been kind of scared of myself the last month, trying not to fall flat. So that's why I've been kind of behind on some of the things, but I'm trying to let everyone know, hey, I'm working. I actually try to keep, I took some time off because of the fight, and I'm trying
Hmm.
to be a woman of my word. And I told him I would make up the days. So here I am, but my hands hurt. I'm making up all the days that I missed, making right on that. So that took me some time. I'm going through surgery. I'm having physical therapy on top of the holidays, on top of I have a brand new puppy, on top of just realizing what the hell I just did. I did have to let go of one of my coaches, and I didn't
Oh
really have
wow.
a management team, but I had a little bump in the road there that was pretty unfortunate. So I'm signing with a new management company. So I've been working on that. So a lot of like exciting yet stressful things that I know people didn't realize, but I just didn't trust myself enough to get on too much to answer my messages or tell people really what's going on. So I apologize for that. But thank you for
Well, I
checking up
appreciate.
on me and having this
I
podcast.
appreciate you. I actually appreciate you coming on and letting your fans know that, because I mean, people follow you on IG and they see, you know what I'm saying, you live a very busy lifestyle. And, the fight game is a lot, it's multifaceted, right? It's not just about getting in the ring. There's a lot more goes into the fight game as far as management, managing your time. And you're still a full-time, worker. You still working, you still have family, you still, a mother, you still have a life to live. So we understand that. And it's dope. You're one of the baddest, like I said at the beginning of the show, one of the baddest women in combat sports. I love it.
Thank you. I'm going to fight my ass off. I promise. Keep watching because I'm literally here and trying to be here on my badass skills. And so it's only going to get better.
All right, we'll keep watching for you. And Circle of Kings, man, a huge, huge, huge shout out to Bret Hart. Thanks, champ. Hey, the reign will live as long as you want it to.
That's right. Amen.
It's called the Hart between rounds 4 and 5. Stick and jab now from Hart. I think that this
Welcome back to Circle of Kings, man. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to the strawweight BKFC champ, Bret Hart, man. Appreciate you stopping by and just opening up, giving us all the inside scoop on that. We're going to follow your career. We know you're unstoppable. So, I mean, we're going to see what happens. But I got a really, really big surprise for everybody in the Circle of Kings audience tonight. I'm about to bring you may know him from his 40-plus MMA fights over his career. You may know him from his 13 1-1 boxing career. You may know him from the Ultimate Fighter 4, where he got to the final with Matt Serra. You may know him from his 20-fight run with the UFC, known as an action bang fighter. You may know him as the voice of BKFC. We about to bring it on right here. My man, Chris Lights Out Lytle's in the building.
Man, thank you for having me. What a good intro. The only thing I got to correct you on there is, I had a lot more fights than that. You don't understand. Back in the day, they went back and they took off a bunch of 18 wins, man. I had a bunch of wins. They had my record down. It was like 1-0 in Japan. I was like, man, I was like 10-0 before they sent me there. So they went back and took off. Well, here's what it was. They went back and they go, all these fights were in unsanctioned states. They're like, yeah, there wasn't sanctioning states back then. So like, well, these are all off your record. So it's like, man, it was all my wins. They didn't take one loss off. It's complete. It's not cool, man.
Right. They didn't take one loss, but they took the wins, though.
Hey, but you know what? I couldn't care less what my record is on there. That's not important to me, man. I just like to fight.
So, hey, yeah, obviously, I'm gonna say you ain't got to explain that to anybody that knows you, Chris. You love to fight, man. You love to bang. You one of the all-time bangers, okay? And my first recollection was I was a huge Tough fan back then. So, I mean, that whole era with y'all and the Clay Guida type fighters that would just go in and scrap. So I remember Matt Serra in that final being a straight up punk and just trying to lay down, wanting to stomp feet and lay down. Talk to us a little bit about that, man.
Man, I cannot say anything negative about my dude, Matt Serra. When we were on that show together, Matt's just a good guy, man. He's a guy who, if somebody else was like being left out, he'd try to include him in the conversation. Just a good dude, man. Always making jokes. I love that fight was just bad because it was so much on the line. The winner got like 250 grand, a new car, a title shot with St. Pierre. The loser got like 10 grand. So it's like, neither one of us wanted to lose, so we just kind of fought a boring fight, and it was I lost a split decision I said, I'll never do that again, no matter what. Like I did it once in my career to try to win, and it didn't happen. So I was like, I felt like I didn't get my title fight, but I didn't fight the way I wanted to. I didn't fight the way I normally do. So I was like, never again, and I never did again. So I was happy with that.
So you're definitely known as an action fighter, and I always thought of you as like a dude that definitely did not fight. Like you didn't go to fight not to lose. Yeah, that's definitely. I seen it click in you a certain part of your career. You're like, I don't care anymore. I'm just going in there to fight. I don't care if I lose or not. And that was a big change.
That fight that did it. It was that fight that did it, man. After that, I said, man, I've lost bigger fights than this. Just come out and fight. I said, I got to knock you out or submit you. And I said, if it went the distance, I didn't do my job. That was my thought always. And man, what I learned is some people are just tough as hell. You could hit people really hard. You can knock them down. You might not knock them out, and they're hard to submit. So every time I usually went the distance, it was a fight of the night. So, hey, either way I won, you know what I mean? So people love the fight or I hurt somebody. So it was great.
Well, I want to stop right quick and do this. I know you're a career fireman. Big shout out to first responder. We're huge supporters of first responders here. And I know you're a career firefighter. So big ups to you, man.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Well, that was a tough thing people didn't really realize. A lot of people's like myself. I know Stipe Miocic does the same thing, but you know, everybody else is training full time. I got 4 kids trying to work at the fire department, man. It was
wow.
I had no life. People say, man, what do you do for fun? I was like, I'm doing it. You know, I'm training, I'm working, I'm spending time with the kids. Like, do you like to go golf? I'm like, I don't play golf. Do you go hunting? I've never been hunting in my life. I don't do anything else besides that. You know, that was all the time I had, and that was all I did.
So all you do is bang. I mean, so the 13 1-on-1 boxing, man. I mean, you won the Indiana light heavyweight championship at one point. Did you not? I mean, why didn't you pursue the boxing more?
Man, you know what's funny is I kind of was. You remember that show that was called, I think it was called The Contender. It had not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
Sylvester Stallone and Sugar
Oscar
Ray
De La
Leonard.
Hoya. Yeah.
Yes. The first season had Sugar Ray Leonard running with Sylvester Stallone. So, and it was a 160-pound weight class. And I watched it. I was like, I like this. My boxing coach got me a tryout for season 2. And like I went right to the front of the line. They loved me because I had already fought in the UFC a bunch. And they're like, man, we want this guy to be part of it. And then they were telling me, here's what's up, Chris. We're either deciding between 168 or 147. So I was like, well, if you do 147, they're like, yeah, well, you can't do it. They ended up going with that weight class, 147. So had they went to 168, I would have been a boxer. You wouldn't even know me from the UFC. Besides, I probably would have done 5 fights there. But then I almost went boxing. But then when I got on the UFC, the Tough 4, they said, man, you sign that contract, you can't do boxing anymore. So that's why I was done.
So you were fighting super middle. They wanted to do the weight class, 2, 3, 4 weight classes below. So was it Sergio Martinez? I think came out of that and had a great career from that Contender series. One of those series. He was right.
He was on the first season. Yes, I was trying to get him the second season. They were going to do 168 pounders or 147. Then with 147, I'm like, I'm way too big for that, man. I fight at 170.
So before we get on, we're talking about I'm gonna get into some future and present day. I do want to, while I got you, man, I'm a huge fan of you. So I do want to talk about a fight, the Marcus Davis fight, where you called him out, and then you said, I'll fight you in Ireland. And then you there's a rumor that you told him, hey, we're gonna just stand up and bang, and y'all just stood up and bang. It was one of the most entertaining fights I ever saw.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of try to do that with everybody. Like I said, after that, Mike, I train a lot on the ground. I'm very skilled on the ground, but I was like, you ever see me try and take one person down? I never felt like anybody could knock me out, and I think I can knock anybody out. So I felt like if we stand and bang and throw hands, I'm going to beat you. You know what I mean? I know at one point he turned and ran from me, and I was chasing him. I felt like a little kid on the playground. I felt like a bully at first. But,
I know.
But, yeah, that was a fun fight, man. You know, and I knew it was a problem, though, because I remember at one point he kept throwing these kicks, and I'm blocking, and every time he's hit my arm, the crowd's going nuts like he's hit me in the face. And I remember one time I hit a left hook, bam, and he kind of went all funny. Crickets. You didn't hear no tearing at all. So I was like,
well, you're in Ireland.
I know, but people think like the refs or the judges are all corrupt. I'm like, nah, man, they get influenced by the crowd. When the crowd goes nuts, they go nuts. And if crowd don't react, they don't react. So I understand it. It's just, I fought in Japan a lot. I've lost a lot of split decisions. Let me just say that I've lost like 5.
But you had a great record overall in combat sports, and that brings me to
Thank
why
you.
I really wanted to have you on the show because first of all, you were the first fighter I think to ever win the UFC fight of the night, submission of the night, and knockout of the night. The first fighter to win all three of those bonuses. But you also, being your background with boxing and mixed martial arts, and you had a successful 3-0 run at the beginning of this hype bare knuckle run. And I'm really big on this bare knuckle, and I want you to talk about how you feel that this bare knuckle explosion. I feel like it's exploding. It's the fastest growing combat sport in the world.
Man, I mean, it was funny when I first heard of bare knuckle. I'm in my gym and somebody walks in. They go, "Hey man, there's on Facebook here. Your buddy Joe Riggs fought bare knuckle." And I said, "What in the hell's wrong with Joe Riggs? Why would he do bare knuckle? What is wrong with him?" So I hit play on the the Facebook thing, and I'm watching. And about halfway through the fight, I looked over at the guy and I was like, how do I do this? Who do I talk to get involved? And the guy was like, "Man, you just said how stupid it was." I was like, I didn't know what it was. Now I know. I was like, I got to do one. So I got a hold of people in England, went and did one. And then I got a call from Nate Shook, said, "Hey man, we're legalizing this in the States." And I was like, I got to be involved with it, man. I didn't have my first bare knuckle fight until I was 43. I'd been retired from the UFC for 6 or 7 years, but I was like, I got to do it, man.
Wow.
Because I knew as soon as I watched it, I knew what the UFC and what boxing lacked anymore. And what it is those are not fights anymore. Those are athletic contests. You're an athlete. You're trying to win a contest. Bare knuckles a fight, and it's going to be a fight. The way they set the rules, 2-minute rounds, 5 of them. People are gassing it because they come to bang. That's a fist fight, man. We don't want people coming to try to win athletic contests, and that's why I love it. That's what makes it exciting to me because it's missing in other sports. And I tell you what, man, you don't know how many people I say, "Hey, so are you a UFC fan or are you MMA fan?" They go, "What's the difference?" Well, I go, "Well, do you watch PFL? No. Did you watch Bellator? No. You're a UFC fan."
Did you
And
watch
most
Invictus?
UFC fans, when the fight hits the ground, they go, "You're a bare knuckle fan and you don't even know it. You haven't seen us yet. Once you see us, you're gonna love us because we take all the action, all the good parts, and put it in one thing." You're not gonna watch MMA anymore. You're not gonna watch UFC once you start watching this. You're gonna be like, "That's kind of boring." I agree. I think we're way more entertaining.
So I've been going to all the live last shows. I went to Salem. I went to Columbia. I'm going to Miami on December 8th to check the prospects out. And one thing, I've taken groups with me, and everyone that goes, it's the same thing. Man, that was exciting. It's everything you love about MMA. And a real, us that really know, MMA is MMA and UFC is UFC. The thing that drew me into UFC in the beginning was, let's see a Taekwondo guy or a Tai-Sung-Do guy go up against a boxer. That was the whole draw of it, was let's see who the ultimate fighter is. And now it's morphed into everybody fights the same way. And it's jiu-jitsu / some striking, nowhere near the level. And one thing I love about bare knuckle, especially BKFC, let's talk about that. Shout out to Tony, shout out to Junior, is the level of skill that these dudes, and they're not taking as much punishment. They're taking the least amount of punishment than anybody, I think.
Oh man, that's
you feel
why
like, what do you feel like they take less punishment?
I didn't have 100%. Like I said, I didn't have my first fight until I was 43. I didn't want to come out there and get banged up and my melon messed up where I can't talk right. I got to commentate. I can talk well. So I had to talk to my wife and family like, "Hey, you don't understand. You don't take the damage you do in boxing." I love boxing. I had 15 fights. You get more damage in boxing than anything, man. I mean, you're taking 20 punches around to the head. You have that skull, is the brain's hitting the skull. That's not good. That's how people have problems. All my favorite boxers have brain damage. All of them.
We've all seen the CompuBox numbers, Chris, and cats getting hit 390 times in a fight. That's bare knuckle. If you get hit 5 times in the first round, you're probably asleep. You're definitely cut.
You're definitely cut. Exactly. I mean, so that's my point. And it's not just a fight. It's a training camp. You have to adjust your training to train like you're going to do a bare knuckle fight. You can't get hit. You have to change. So I took so much less damage in training, so much less damage in the fight. That's why I want these older fighters like MMA guys. They're going to see, Francis Ngannou. They're going to see Conor McGregor and be like, "Oh, boxing. You're going to go out there and get wrecked, and you're not going to be able to talk properly when you're older." Like I said, all my favorite boxers are brain damage. Listen to any older fighter, and they don't talk well, and it's sad, and I don't want to see people go through that.
No, and definitely I could see, they're gonna, it's the bang, it's the action. Everybody wants to come see the banging. That's what everyone loves about what they say MMA. They hate it when they fall on the ground. They lack the technical skill to follow that. They're not purple belts. They don't know what's going on, but they do when they come and watch these guys bang. And I see a huge explosion of this sport happening. And some of the exciting fighters that right now I feel like Britain Hart, she definitely is exciting. Strawweight, not only can she box and got speed, she's 7-1 in her last 8 fights since she went to her weight class. She's beautiful, you know what I'm saying, tatted up. And Lorenzo Juggernaut Hunt, I think he's the most exciting man in combat sports right now.
Man, you know, when it comes to Bret Hart, nothing but proud of that girl. She came in on the B side. They brought her in to lose. You know, you don't see many people ever make it from B side to A side, and she did it. That's so impressive. So good. Hats off to her. Lorenzo, man, he's an entertainer, and the dude's proven time and time again. I mean, he gets it. He knows. We've had guys like him who didn't have success in other combat sports because, you know what, I'm going to take this and make this my sport, and he has all the attributes. The dude's unstoppable right now. He gets in there, he leads like hard combinations. He can knock you out with one punch. He's phenomenal.
And he can take one. So the most amazing fight, I mean, the thing I bet about a year ago, I saw it, I forget the dude.
Richmond, Mike Richmond.
The Mike Richmond fight, exactly. When he caught that and he's down, and you know, that was a beautiful shot that Richmond landed. He gets up, Richmond's coming in and lands the most perfect hook you've ever seen in your life. And I was a fan for life right then. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, that was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought the fight was over, man. And me and Sean Wheelock, the other commentator, all we talk about is, I love it when someone gets up off the canvas to win. You would not believe how many fighters we have do that here. I mean, tons of time. We've had fighters, both of them get knocked down the same round. I'm like, somebody's getting off the canvas to win because it's just a tough difference. Like, you have to be a dog to win in this sport. You got to be a tough. I don't care your skill level. You got to be a tough. You got to be the hammer and the nail sometimes because you're going to get hit. And you just real technical, real good. Somebody's going to eat your lunch. That's what I love about this sport. To be great at this, you got to be a good hammer, good nail, a dog, be tough, but be skilled. You got to have it all. It's beautiful.
I've seen a high-level skill, especially with the feints. And like I said, there's a lot of marketable. Redneck Mundell, he's very marketable, had a great fight last weekend. Reggie Barnett, who lost, was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in BKFC and really got walked through in Colombia. So, I mean, but there's lots of young – I just see just a wealth of stars in the making.
Man, like Bryce Henry, that guy is so good, so talented. I mean, he's going to be a prop for everybody. 165 pounds. I'll see who's going to, nobody's been able to touch him yet. So he just keeps getting better and better. The more comfortable he gets out there. We got a lot of, that's what I love about this sport is, 4 years ago, it was everybody coming over from NBA, the UFC or MMA or boxing. Now we get people who their goal is to become a bare knuckle fighter. Like that was what's blown me away. I'm doing these trials and people are like, nah, do you do MMA? Nope. Do you do boxing? No, I'm a bare knuckle. I'm like, we're starting to come along. You starting to become a real thing when people set out to do. I mean, hell, that's back in the UFC back in the day, like 2000. Everybody was a wrestler, a kickboxer. They were still separate. It wasn't until a little after that.
That's right.
Everybody started doing everything, and hell, Wardy there for bare knuckle, and it's only been a couple of years. It's amazing how fast we're growing.
Honestly, the last one I can even remember being described as was Lyoto Machida, the karate fighter. I mean, yeah, but everybody just morphed into one thing, and now it's just MMA fights. But I will also, while we're on this BKFC, of course, there's, you got Ken Shamrock starting his new league, you got BYB with the triangle ring. So you do have, but I'm just saying, when someone sees it, that's what and you can't beat BKFC's model. You got an app that's $7.99 a month. You get 2 or 3 pay-per-views a month. You get a ton of content when it'll cost you $300 a month to do that with UFC. And now I see they got a partnership with FreeV. They're on Amazon. So,
man, that's what I keep telling people. I'm like, you can get us for the whole year for the price of one UFC. And hey, man, I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer, man. Economic times are getting tough. Inflation's going up everywhere. People are going to have to start making choices. I'm a firm believer. Hey, man, we can get us for the whole year for the price of one UFC, and we're putting on 2 fights a month. At least it's a no-brainer.
And Chris, this ain't tough man contest. That's why I have to explain to people. There's a lot of skill. This is very skilled fighters in this ring.
I love it. In the last fight we put on, 10 fights, 9 stoppages. I mean, you know what? We've never had
What?
somebody
You know
say,
what I'm saying? What?
we've never had anybody say, Chris, there's too many knockouts last night. I didn't like it. Nobody's ever said that. Nobody ever will say it. They want more knockouts. Nobody wants decisions, man.
Absolutely. You want to have a good night out. When the BKFC is coming to an area near you, make sure you get over there. And the venues you guys are filling up now are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can see that.
Man, Utah's going to be crazy. We're probably going to get 8,000, maybe 10,000. Who knows what we're going to get? But, man, I mean, we've had some huge stadiums, and they're full. It's amazing to me. I can't believe how fast we're coming so quickly.
Well, man, I'm going to tell you what, Chris, I appreciate you coming to give us our time, man. I really appreciate you. I've always been a fan of you. You had a great career. Chris Lights Out. Lytle, man, is on the Circle of Kings, man. Thank you so much. And, of course, I'll see you in the event because we're heavy into the BKFC, the bare knuckle. We're all in with it.
That's what I want to hear, man, because I am too. Like I said, I love MMA. I was at my life boxing for a while, but, I mean, this is what's up, man. I mean, anything, I just do it because I love it. You know, I love the excitement. I love how fast-paced it is. It's a real fight. And that's when I got involved with all this stuff. It was real fighting. And I think it's the only thing that's real fighting anymore. And that's why I love it.
Well, you definitely an old school fighter, man. I mean, like you said, father of 4, firefighter. And by the way, that's why they didn't want to stand with you, man. You're 13-1 in boxing. Nobody wants to stand with you. They barely can box, and they're trying to get on there and shoot. They want to shoot. But, hey, you're a friend of the show now, man, and we hope to be able to call on you in the future and definitely give us updates on these BKFCs as they come and go.
Hey, man, anytime you want to talk, I'm here. You let me know, man. This is awesome.
All right, man. I appreciate it, Chris. Have a great night, man. Big ups.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, so Circle of Kings, man. There you have it, man. Chris Lights Out Lytle, an ultimate legend, scrapping and rapping, man. This dude is one of the all-time bangers in MMA, period. Like you said, we think he had 45, 50 fights. He got fights all over the world. So definitely stay tuned to BKFC. And like you said, Utah's going to be bananas. BK, big ups. Chris Lights Out Lytle right here on the Circle of Kings.